Hey, English learners, welcome back to Mr. English Fluent Tutor, and welcome back to another wonderful episode. I am Anna.
And I am Abel.
Abel, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What do you think about when you hear the words talking about money and success in English?
Honestly, Anna, my first thought is something like reading complicated stock market charts with all those confusing numbers going up and down, or maybe using very fancy banking words that only professors and financial experts understand. And I also think I would feel a little embarrassed because I am definitely not a millionaire with luxury sports cars and expensive watches sitting in my driveway.
Oh, I completely understand why you feel that way, Abel. And I think so many of our listeners feel the exact same thing. But here is the beautiful truth. Talking about money and success in English is really about your everyday choices, managing your personal budget wisely, and figuring out what true fulfillment actually means to you as a person. We use simple, clear, and practical words to build real financial confidence step by step.
Wow, that actually makes me feel so much better already, Anna. I think I was putting this huge, scary wall in front of the topic before I even started. So you're saying that everyday people like me, who are just trying to manage their groceries, their rent, and their small savings, can absolutely talk about money in a clear and confident way in English?
Exactly, Abel, 100%. And that is precisely why we made this episode today. Every single person listening to us right now already has a daily relationship with money, whether they realize it or not. You buy food, you pay for transportation, you think about your future, and you make small financial decisions every single day. That is the world of money and success we are diving into together right now.
That makes so much sense, Anna, and I love that framing. So, where do we actually begin today? Because I am genuinely curious, and I feel like our listeners are sitting there right now feeling the same mix of excitement and nervousness that I feel whenever someone brings up the subject of personal finances and what success really looks like.
Great question, Abel. And let us start with a simple but really powerful picture. I want you to imagine that you're holding a fresh, clean bottle of water in your hand. That water represents your hard earned money and your daily mental focus and energy. Every single dollar or pound or euro you earn is like that precious, limited water inside the bottle.
Oh, I love that image already, Anna. That is so easy to visualize. So, if the water is my money and my energy, what happens when I start spending without thinking? Because honestly, I do that sometimes. I'm scrolling on my phone late at night, and I suddenly find myself clicking buy on things I didn't even plan to purchase an hour before.
Yes, and that's the exact moment the bottle tips over, Abel. Every impulse purchase, every mindless scroll that ends in an unplanned transaction, every time you spend on something you genuinely do not need, you're essentially pouring that precious water directly onto the floor. It spills, it's gone, and you can't pour it back into the bottle once it hits the ground.
That image is honestly a little painful to think about, but it is so accurate. I can think of so many times I ordered food delivery when I had perfectly good food already sitting in my kitchen, or I bought a new phone case when my old one was absolutely fine. Those moments feel small and harmless, but they're all tiny pours of water onto the floor, right?
Exactly right, Abel. And those tiny pores add up faster than most people realize. Saving your water simply means spending with clear intention. It means asking yourself before you click that button, do I genuinely need this right now, or do I just want it because I'm bored or stressed? That pause, that small question, is how you keep your bottle full and build a strong financial buffer.
That one question, do I need this or do I just want it right now? That is so powerful, Anna. I think if I honestly asked myself that before every single purchase I made this week, I would probably save a surprising amount of money. And that financial buffer you mentioned, that emergency savings cushion, that sounds like it changes everything when life gets unpredictable.
It absolutely changes everything, Abel. A financial buffer is simply a small amount of money you set aside regularly that you don't touch unless there's a real emergency. Think of it as the water you protect at the very bottom of your bottle. It's there for the unexpected moments, and having it gives you this incredible sense of calm and control that changes how you feel about your whole financial life.
Oh, wow. I love that point so much. And it connects to something I think a lot of people struggle with, which is the mindset side of money. Because I know for me personally, when I'm feeling financially stressed, it's like I'm looking out of a dirty, cloudy window and everything outside just looks gray and impossible and out of reach.
Abel, you just walked us beautifully into the next idea I wanted to share. Let us talk about the room with two windows. Picture a room inside your mind where there are two windows. The first window is covered in gray clouds and streaks of dirt. When you stare out of that window, all you see is financial stress, endless struggle, and the feeling that success and security belong only to lucky people, not to someone like you.
Yes, and I think most of us spend way too much time at that cloudy window, honestly. You look out and you see other people on social media with their beautiful homes and their fancy vacations, and you immediately start thinking, that is not for me. I do not have the right connections or the right background or the right amount of money to even start building something meaningful.
Exactly. And that window will keep you stuck if you let it. But now turn around inside that same room and look at the second window. This one opens up onto a green, growing garden. Through this window, you realize something deeply important. True success is not a lucky accident that happens to special people. It's built through consistent daily habits, mindful spending choices, and growing your personal skills one small step at a time.
The green garden window. I absolutely love that, Anna. And what I find so encouraging about that image is that the garden is already growing. It is not empty. It is not waiting for some magic moment or some huge financial windfall to suddenly appear. It is growing right now, quietly and consistently, because someone is putting in daily care and attention. That is such a hopeful picture.
You described it beautifully, Abel, and that's the whole point. Every morning when you wake up and you choose to check your bank balance instead of ignoring it, or you choose to cook a meal at home instead of ordering out, or you spend 15 minutes learning one new financial vocabulary word in English, you're watering that garden. You're looking out of the green window and taking action from that perspective.
And I think that connects really naturally to something practical, because talking about consistent daily habits makes me think about small steps. I sometimes get so overwhelmed when I think about big financial goals, like buying a home or retiring comfortably or building a business, that I just freeze and do nothing. Does that sound familiar to any of our listeners out there?
Oh, it absolutely does, Abel. And I think this is one of the most common mental barriers people face when it comes to money and success. So let me paint another picture for you. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a wide river and you need to cross to the other side. You look across and you think, that is too far. I cannot swim that whole distance. I will never make it over there.
Yes, that is exactly the feeling. The goal on the other side feels enormous, and the river feels impossibly wide. And without a bridge or a boat, most people just turn around and walk away. But I'm guessing, Anna, that the stepping stones analogy is about to change that whole picture for us right now.
You guessed perfectly, Abel. Now, look down at the river and you notice that there are stepping stones, small, flat rocks placed one after another, leading all the way across. You don't need to jump the entire river in one leap. You just need to step onto the first stone, find your balance, and then look for the next one. That's how real financial progress is made, every single day.
So those stepping stones are the small daily financial actions, things like tracking what I spend each day, cooking at home a few extra times per week, setting aside even a tiny amount each month into savings, or learning practical financial vocabulary like the words we are going to review today. Those small stones carry you all the way across the river over time.
Exactly right. And I love the phrase I like to use for those small steps. I call them your pocket coins of financial awareness. You collect these tiny 10-minute coins of learning and action throughout your day. Maybe you read one article about budgeting on your lunch break, or you write down 3 things you spent money on today before you go to sleep. Each pocket coin has real value.
That is such a lovely way to think about it, Anna. Pocket coins of financial awareness. And it removes all that pressure of needing to do everything perfectly and all at once. You are just collecting coins. One here, one there.
and those coins stack up over time into something genuinely meaningful. I think that framing is going to help a lot of our listeners who are feeling stuck or overwhelmed right now.
I hope so too, Abel, because feeling overwhelmed is one of the biggest reasons people avoid the subject of money altogether. And when we avoid it, things do not get better on their own. They usually get a little more complicated, which brings me to our next idea. And I want to talk about keeping your financial approach clean and sharp, like a well-maintained kitchen knife.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that, Anna. Because I love a good kitchen analogy. I spend enough time in my kitchen trying to figure out what to cook for dinner on a tight weekly food budget, so this one feels very relatable and very close to my everyday life already.
So, picture a really good kitchen knife. When it's clean and sharp, it does exactly what you need it to do. It cuts through things smoothly, efficiently, and safely. Now, picture a knife that is dull, rusty, and covered in old residue. It requires enormous effort to use. It does not work properly, and honestly, it becomes more dangerous than helpful when you try to force it.
Yes, that is such a clear image. And I think in the world of personal finance, the dull, rusty knife is what happens when people get tangled up in overly complicated investment schemes, or they try to follow extreme economic theories that require a university degree just to understand the first step. That mental fog is exhausting, and it makes people give up before they even start.
You are completely right, Abel. The clean knife approach to your personal finances means choosing simple, practical, and sustainable money rules. Rule number 1, spend less than you earn consistently. Rule number 2, save a little amount regularly, even if it starts incredibly small. And rule number 3, cut out unnecessary debts that are draining your bottle of water every single month without adding any real value to your life.
Spend less than you earn, save regularly, no matter the amount, and cut out unnecessary debt. Those three rules sound almost too simple, but I think that is actually the point, right, Anna? Because we often think that getting better with money requires some secret, sophisticated formula that only wealthy people know. But the fundamentals are genuinely straightforward and accessible to absolutely everyone.
That is precisely the point, Abel. Sophistication in personal finance is not about complexity. It's about consistency with the basics over a long period of time. The people who build genuine financial stability are usually not the ones doing the most complicated things. They're the ones who stayed faithful to simple, clear habits for years, through the boring seasons and the exciting ones alike.
hmm Consistency over complexity. That is a line I want to write on a sticky note and put on my bathroom mirror, honestly. And speaking of staying consistent even when things feel hard, I want to talk about something very personal because I think it connects deeply to what we're discussing. Anna, can I be honest with our listeners for a moment?
Please do, Abel. This is exactly the kind of honest conversation that makes this topic feel real and approachable. Our listeners are not just here to hear perfect advice. They're here to feel understood and to know that they are not alone on this journey. So please share what's on your mind.
Thank you, Anna. So, honestly, there are days when a voice inside my head just starts listing all my financial shortcomings. It says things like, "You are not wealthy. You are not successful. You are not good with managing your savings. You never finish your financial plans." And when that voice gets going, it feels really discouraging, and I sometimes wonder if I will ever actually make meaningful progress.
Abel, I am so glad you shared that because I know that inner voice is something almost every single person listening to us right now has experienced. And I want to offer you one of the simplest and most transformative tools in the entire world of personal growth and financial mindset. It's a single, powerful, magical little word, and that word is yet.
The word yet. Tell me more, Anna, because I'm genuinely curious how one small three-letter word can shift something that feels so heavy and discouraging inside your head. Because that inner voice we're talking about is not a small thing. For many people, it's a daily presence that quietly convinces them that growth and change are not really possible for someone like them.
So you said, I am not good with managing my savings. Now add the word yet to the end. I am not good with managing my savings yet. Do you feel the difference, Abel? The first sentence is a permanent label, it's a closed door, but the second sentence with yet at the end is an open door. It says, this is where I am right now, and I am still moving and learning and growing.
Oh, wow. That genuinely gave me a little chill just now, Anna. I am not wealthy yet. I am not financially confident yet. I haven't paid off my debts yet. Every single one of those statements changes from a wall into a doorway just by adding that one word. And it's not fake positivity either. It's a realistic acknowledgement that growth takes time, and that is perfectly normal and okay.
Exactly, Abel. And it's so important to note that yet is not about pretending your challenges don't exist. It's about reframing your current position as a step on a journey rather than a final destination. When you say, I am not there yet, you're telling yourself that the journey is still active, that the path is still open, and that today's efforts are genuinely moving you forward.
Mm-hmm. And connecting that to something else, Anna, I think part of what makes the yet mindset so powerful is that it removes this intense internal pressure and judgment. Because a lot of people, and I include myself in this completely, feel like they are supposed to already know all of this, like somehow managing money and defining success should be something you just automatically know how to do.
And that brings me to something I find so important to say clearly. There is no teacher hiding behind your sofa at home, silently grading every single financial decision you have ever made. There is no invisible examiner sitting in the corner of your room, holding up a red pen and marking your past spending mistakes in a book somewhere.
That image actually made me laugh a little bit, Anna, but it is such a freeing thought at the same time. Because genuinely, I think so many of us carry around this silent guilt about past financial choices. Maybe we borrowed money we should not have, or we spent a whole month's worth of savings on something that brought zero lasting satisfaction, and we just keep judging ourselves for it.
And that self-judgment can actually become a much bigger obstacle than the original financial mistake itself. The financial decision you made last year is in the past. It cannot be unspent. What matters now, what is in your power right now today, is the decision you make this afternoon, this evening, and tomorrow morning. Learning to make wiser daily choices moving forward is what real financial maturity looks like.
Real financial maturity is about moving forward with intention, not replaying every past mistake in a loop. I love that framing so much, Anna. It is compassionate and it is also practical because energy spent on guilt is energy that is not being spent on actually improving your current situation. And every single one of our listeners deserves to move forward with that kind of freedom and clarity.
Beautifully said, Abel. And here's the last big idea I want to share before we move into our vocabulary review, because I think it ties everything together so perfectly. I want you to imagine that you are walking on a long and pleasant afternoon path, and you are moving at a comfortable, steady pace. You've been walking for a while, and you realize you are alone on the path.
Okay, I am there with you, Anna, walking along this nice afternoon path. And I'm guessing that something or someone is about to catch up with me, because there's definitely a gentle lesson hiding inside this image, and I can feel it coming. Please continue, because I'm genuinely loving where this is going right now.
As you walk, you notice that a friend has been a little way behind you the whole time. This friend is not rushing, not sprinting, not trying to impress anyone with speed. They're just walking steadily and consistently. And after a while, after you've been moving forward together at that gentle pace, your friend quietly catches up and walks right beside you. That friend is financial stability and meaningful success.
Oh, that is so beautiful and so reassuring, Anna. Because in a world where everything on social media looks like overnight success and instant transformation and people going from zero to millionaire in 12 months, the idea that real stability is like a slow, steady, faithful friend who eventually walks right beside you, that feels deeply honest and genuinely encouraging.
Yes, and the slow friend analogy is really about intentionality. When you slow down your spending impulses, when you stop rushing to impress others with things you cannot actually afford, when you stay consistent with your small daily habits and your pocket coins of financial awareness, you are walking at exactly the right pace for your slow friend to catch up and stay by your side for the long term.
That makes so much sense, Anna. And it reframes what patience actually looks like in the context of financial life. Patience is not passive waiting while you sit on the sofa hoping things improve on their own. Patience, combined with consistent daily action, is the actual engine of lasting financial progress. You are walking the path, and your steady friend is coming to meet you.
That is a perfect summary of the idea, Abel. Now I think it's a wonderful time for us to look at some of the key vocabulary we've been using naturally throughout this conversation today. Because one of the best things about talking about money and success in English is that you actually don't need hundreds of complicated technical words. A strong foundation of 7 clear terms will take you incredibly far.
Yes, I am so ready for the vocabulary review, Anna, because I know our listeners have been hearing some of these words throughout our conversation, and now is the perfect moment to really lock in those definitions with clear, simple examples. I feel like vocabulary is one of those areas where people give up too quickly because they assume financial words must be too advanced or too technical for their current level.
And that assumption is exactly what we are going to gently dissolve right now, Abel. Let's start with our first word, and that word is budget. A budget is simply a plan that shows how much money you earn and how you choose to spend and save it. It's not a punishment, it's not a restriction. It's a map that helps you see clearly where your money is actually going each month.
Oh, I love that definition, Anna. A budget is a map. And here's my everyday example sentence for that word. Every Sunday evening, I sit down with a cup of tea and I review my weekly budget to make sure my spending matches my priorities for that week. That simple Sunday habit has honestly changed how in control I feel about my personal finances over time.
That is a wonderful and very practical example sentence, Abel. Now, our second word is prosperity. Prosperity means a state of being successful and having enough resources, health, opportunities, and well-being to live a good and fulfilling life. And it's important to understand that prosperity looks different for every single person. It's not a fixed number in a bank account.
And here's my example sentence for prosperity. True prosperity for me does not just mean having a large bank balance. It means having enough financial security to spend quality time with my family without constant money stress following me everywhere I go. That definition of prosperity feels personal and meaningful and completely within the reach of everyday people.
Beautifully put, Abel. Our third vocabulary word is investment. An investment is when you choose to put your money, your time, or your energy into something with the expectation that it will grow and return greater value to you in the future. And investments don't always mean stocks and shares. Learning a new skill is an investment. Reading a book is an investment. Taking care of your health is an investment.
That broader definition of investment is so helpful, Anna, because it opens up the concept to everyone. And my example sentence is this: spending 30 minutes every day listening to English language podcasts like this one is one of the most valuable investments I make because improving my communication skills directly increases my opportunities and my earning potential over time.
Oh, I genuinely love that example sentence, Abel. And it is so true. Our fourth word is frugal. Being frugal means being careful and intentional with how you spend your money. It does not mean being cheap or living a joyless life of total deprivation. A frugal person makes thoughtful choices, avoids waste, and finds real satisfaction in spending wisely rather than spending abundantly without purpose.
Yes, and I think the word frugal sometimes gets misunderstood as negative, but it is actually a very positive and empowering quality. Here's my example sentence. My grandmother was one of the most frugal people I ever knew, and because of her intentional spending habits throughout her life, she was able to build a comfortable and secure home for her entire family without ever having a very high income.
What a wonderful real-life example, Abel. And it shows that frugality across a lifetime creates results that income alone often cannot. Our fifth word is financial. The word financial simply means relating to money, banking, savings, spending, investing, or anything connected to the management of personal or business resources. When we talk about financial goals, financial habits, or financial confidence, we are really talking about your complete relationship with money.
Great definition, Anna. And here's my example sentence for financial.
Building strong financial habits in your 20s and 30s, things like saving consistently, avoiding unnecessary debt, and tracking your spending, creates a much more stable and peaceful life in your 40s and 50s. Your financial choices today are quite literally building or dismantling your future comfort and freedom.
That is a really powerful and true example sentence, Abel. And our seventh and final vocabulary word for today is stability. Stability means a state of being steady, secure, and unlikely to change suddenly or collapse. Financial stability means you have enough consistent income, savings, and smart habits in place that unexpected events like a broken car, a medical bill, or a job change do not completely derail your entire financial situation.
Yes, and stability is such an underrated goal, honestly, Anna. People often chase wealth and abundance and luxury, but what they really want underneath all of that is the feeling of stability, the feeling that things are okay, that you are covered, that you can breathe. And here's my example sentence. After years of intentional saving and careful budgeting, I finally felt real financial stability for the first time, and it honestly felt better than any luxury purchase I had ever made.
That is the absolute truth, Abel. And I think that example sentence will resonate deeply with so many of our listeners. And now that we have reviewed all seven of our key vocabulary words budget, prosperity, investment, frugal, financial, milestone, and stability I think we are in a wonderful place to bring everything from today's conversation together into one clear and satisfying summary. Do you want to take us through that, Abel?
I would absolutely love to, Anna. Thank you. So here's everything we explored together on today's episode. We started by understanding that talking about money and success in English is not about fancy vocabulary or impressive financial credentials. It's about everyday awareness and simple, clear language. We talked about treating your money like precious water in a bottle, spending with intention rather than pouring it mindlessly onto the floor through impulse purchases and unplanned spending decisions.
Keep going, Abel. You are doing wonderfully. I love how naturally you're connecting all of these ideas together for our listeners right now.
Thank you, Anna. We then talked about the room with two windows, choosing to look through the cloudy window of financial stress or shifting your perspective to the green garden window of consistent daily growth. We learned that real success is not a lucky accident, but a garden you water with small, intentional choices every single day. Then we talked about the stepping stones across the river and collecting pocket coins of financial awareness, because you don't need to solve everything at once.
And we talked about the clean knife approach, Abel, keeping your financial philosophy simple and sharp. Spend less than you earn, save a little regularly, and cut out the unnecessary debts that are quietly draining your resources month after month without adding any real quality or meaning to your daily life.
Exactly, Anna. And then we had what I think was one of the most emotionally important moments of this whole conversation, which was the magic of the word yet. I am not financially confident yet. I have not reached my savings goal yet. I have not paid off my debt yet. Every single one of those statements keeps the door of growth and possibility wide open. And we reminded ourselves and our listeners that there is no hidden teacher behind the sofa grading every past financial decision with a red pen.
That is so beautifully recapped, Abel. And we close the main ideas with the slow friend analogy, the reminder that true financial stability does not arrive in a dramatic, sudden, overnight moment. It catches up with you quietly, steadily, and reliably when you remain consistent with your daily habits, and you resist the urge to rush or to perform wealth for the approval of people around you.
Yes, and woven throughout all of these ideas, we reviewed 7 essential money and success vocabulary words that every B1 level English learner can start using confidently in their daily conversations today. Budget, prosperity, investment, frugal, financial, milestone, and stability. These are not intimidating technical words, they're practical, everyday tools that help you talk about your financial life with clarity and confidence in English.
That is an incredible summary, Abel. Thank you so much. And now I want to turn the conversation over to all of you amazing English learners who have been walking this path with us today. Here is your community question for this episode. Please drop us a comment below this video and share one smart money-saving habit that you currently practice in your daily life. Or tell us your own personal definition of what success truly means to you. We read every single comment, and your answer might just inspire another learner somewhere in the world.
Yes, please do share your thoughts in the comments, because that community conversation is one of our absolute favorite parts of making this show. Every time we read your comments, we learn something new too, and we are reminded of why we love doing this together every single week. Your voice and your perspective genuinely matter, and we want to hear them.
And remember, every episode you complete, every new word you add to your vocabulary, every moment you choose to engage with English in your daily life, that is a stepping stone. That is a pocket coin. That is you watering your green garden and walking your path at exactly the right pace. We are so incredibly proud of every single one of you who showed up today.
And to any listener who is feeling like they are not progressing fast enough or that success in both language and life is somehow out of reach, please remember the word yet. You are not fluent yet. You are not financially free yet. You are not where you want to be yet. But you are walking, you are learning, and your slow and steady friend is already on the path behind you, getting closer with every single step you take.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking with confidence and ease. This is Anna.
And this is Abel, and you have been listening to the Mr. English Fluent Tutor podcast. Bye-bye.
Take care. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please click on the next video waiting for you right now. It is filled with more natural English conversations, real daily life vocabulary, and the kind of warm, encouraging practice that keeps your language and your personal progress moving smoothly forward. We'll see you there.